Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining in to On Point with Abbas Hamidi. Today, we are, as you can see, in a private jet. It's called the Gulf Stream. And we have Mishal Anzari, who's the president of Airlin Executive. It's a charter company, and they are into aviation since some time now and leading the way, leading the industry. And we have Michelle, who is going to talk more about it. Michelle, how are you? And thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me, mate.
Thank you, bro. Let's start on with why aviation. How did you come to aviation industry?
It's a great question. I was pretty much born uh, dreaming about aviation in the sense that mom's been in the aviation business all her life. So has my grandfather, who has been in the Air Force. So hearing a lot of war stories and a lot of aviation talks between my family. I come from a family filled with a lot of aviation enthusiasts. So as a child, the one biggest curious wonder that I had was, how can this metal vessel carrying tons and tons and tons of weight fly so seamlessly in the sky?
That made you come into the industry?
That pretty much, yeah. That sort of inspired me, and to the point where, because mom's been in the industry, because my grandfather being in the Air Force, I kind of always wanted to be a pilot, right? Yeah. So, but again, this curious wonder of mine, this childhood curiosity, it sort of stuck with me until I got into my university, and I sort of asked 1,000 different questions, and bing bang boom, here I am with my own little business now, and yeah.
So how did you did you have any education related to aviation, or how did you end up in aviation? Do you have a history? Because it's not an easy field to be in, right? And at this your young age, how did you manage to be in this?
Yeah, so it's a tough question, man. Long story short, it's a dream, right? I mean, think of, like, my dad's been in business, right, most of his life, and if seeing my dad being in business and mom being in aviation, it's always like, hey, do you want to fly for the rest of your life? Do you want to just do one particular thing for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be able to have your own operation and build a business out of it and, like, just grow? I mean, try to face challenges like a champ.
Yeah.
And that is something that my father keeps telling me. He keeps pushing me. He's just like, don't just stay at one spot. Grow, learn, love what you do, respect what you do, admire what you do. But at the same time, it is the journey that matters, not the destination. So keep that in mind. Yeah. So that these are little things that sort of stuck.
So what is if you say journey, what was your journey be like to be where you are today?
The funny thing is, I had one of these. So while I was doing my bachelor's, right, there was.
You've done your bachelor's here in Dubai?
No. I did most of my education, except for my schooling. Schooling was done in Dubai. University degrees were up in Australia. Did a lot of my growing up in Adelaide, which is the place that I call home. And did my higher education, a little bit of work experience in Melbourne, and then COVID, Dubai, and yeah, like that's sort of my LinkedIn profile, you could say. Here, I mean, you could probably have my LinkedIn like over here.
We can just add that box in.
Exactly. Yeah. Abbas, don't forget that. So as I was saying, we I'm pretty sure your viewers consist with a lot of young dreamers or enthusiasts that want to be able to, not just for aviation, but to be able to take a step forward. The one thing is, do not waste time. Learn as much as you can, right? I'm not saying learn everything, but learn the questions that you have. A lot of people, they are very ignorant as to the whys and the whats and the hows. I mean, going back while I was doing my bachelor's, right, during my thesis time, I had one of my theses. I had to interview a pilot regarding human factors. And we had this little aviation lounge. And that was pretty much only accessible by people who had the license. So, or even student pilots, you could access that. So, but regular people could not. So, anyways, this pilot said, "Oh, if you want to talk to me about human factors, fly, come. And I'm like, this guy, you know, I got to know this answer because, I mean, it's part of my thesis. And at the same time, I have to interview pilots. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right? And at that time, I was a young, dumb kid. What more did I know but to figure out as to, oh, this guy said, I mean, with his snobby nose and everything, looking down upon me, saying for me to get my license, and I ended up learning how to fly, and built a hell lot of experience, and well, for a single engine aircraft at least, and yeah, and then I met the pilot ages later, and I'm just like, hey, do you remember me? The worst part is he doesn't even remember me.
Doesn't remember you. But you started working somewhere. We were having that conversation, and you said that you started first in Dubai with some, with an experience, because aviation industry right now is booming. A lot of people are, having this in mind to penetrate this industry, and of course there is supply, so there are a lot of people aiming for this. How did you manage to make a mark in this industry?
So, starting off my career as a check-in agent.
Check-in, so airport security?
No, not even airport security, man. I was like way beyond that, way before that. It's like, literally, passports, please.
Oh,
do you have any?
So you were doing that in Dubai, or what?
I was doing that in Melbourne.
Oh.
So while I was doing my masters, I was a check-in agent just so that I could build my experience.
Wow.
Then from check-in agent, went into coordinator. From coordinator, got into at that time COVID went on, and funny enough, my team in my shift were the first people who bought the first COVID passenger into Australia. Into Australia. So at for me, I thought COVID was like a bird flu. So I'm like, oh, sanitizer. Seriously, that was me.
That was your job?
No, because I didn't know what COVID was. I don't really care. Everyone's just like, oh my God, COVID, I'm not even go close to it. And I'm just like, I'm part of that team. I don't care. And then but Melbourne was one of the most profitable states, hubs for Donata, and because we got a government contract. But anyways, let's just focus on aviation. I mean, especially during COVID time.
Yeah.
It was a downfall for a lot of commercial operations, but private jets boomed by like 1,000%.
Why do you think that happened? Why was private jet? Because people wanted to reach home at that time during COVID? Why?
I'm not even going to say 1,000%. I was exaggerating. I mean,
but we understand that it wasn't a boom, right? Why would that happen? Why did that happen?
I mean, first of all, if being in a metal tube filled with other people, that itself was like a phenomenon.
Yeah, so people then wanted to go in.
Exactly. People who could afford like a first class or a business class on Emirates, right? If traveling with their family, I'm pretty sure they could probably afford, flying a private jet. I mean, it's funny enough, it's not as expensive as what other people might think it could be. Say, for example, Dubai, Brisbane, on an Emirates flight, say business class, something around 33,000 dirhams, right, per passenger. You can find roughly about the same price on a private jet.
But if you are having more than one passenger, right, that makes sense.
That sort of adds up, right? It sort of adds up, and it also depends on what kind of an aircraft type it is, and what sort of amenities you require, and what is the special deals that's going on. I mean, there's a lot of options available, and especially in the world that everything lives within technology.
Yeah.
You can find, if you want to find something, you can find it. Everything is in that little metal brick aluminium, because mine is an old iPhone. It's not the titanium one anymore. But yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah.
So, but going back onto my experience, I started my career as a check-in agent. COVID happened, got promoted as a little site manager, taking care of moving passengers from the airport to the hotel. Quarantining them, making sure what the dietary requirements are. We had a little team. We all worked together. It was a lot of fun. Did I get COVID once? Hell no. I didn't even get COVID once, but I don't know. It's funny. God bless. But during that time, I mean, as I mentioned, private jets was really moving, and people were talking about private jets. And I'm like, wait, hang on. I studied aviation. How is it that I'm not being exposed to private jets? I mean, a lot of people, a lot of you, those who are studying aviation, have you come across private jets or the teachers teaching you about private jets at all, or the general aviation sector much? No, because it's not part of the curriculum, and that's astonishing me, because that was my biggest question. And I tried to approach ExecuJet in Avalon Avalon Airport in Melbourne, and they just couldn't entertain because COVID restrictions and lockdowns and appointments, and it was difficult. So I needed answers. So the best way that I could find answers was to find in the greatest city on earth, Dubai, where networking is at its finest. Even if there's COVID lockdowns, people are still hustling. People are still finding different ways.
Yeah.
So my way of trying to find the answers that I want, especially for the general aviation sector, was to come to Dubai, connect with the different people on LinkedIn. Again, I don't have that experience on general aviation. I wanted to find answers. And I connected with certain people, which inspired me, that got me asking more questions that I wanted to find answers to. And I was, 21 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great journey and a great way to be in an aviation. And I think you've already acquired a lot of knowledge regarding this industry moving forward.
By the grace of God, alhamdulillah. It's like I said, a lot of people, they have questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're timid to ask.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, or rather, what I should call you guys, legends. The world is in your hands, right? Whether you might be a young 10-year-old kid or a 70-year-old gentleman or lady, ask questions if you have any. Don't assume. And what I like to believe in, something that my late grandfather had always told me, was assumption kills. So, because assumptions lead to bullshit. Bullshits lead to unnecessary politics, and unnecessary politics is what? A headache. And you and I, we don't want a headache, do we, Abbas?
Okay, so we're from your personal journey, which is a great one that we heard. Now let's move to the industry, okay? How do you think that aviation industry here in the UAE is shaping? What is the future? And why would someone travel in a private jet and not rather in a commercial airline?
Because let's just take the first part of your question. We live in the Middle East, right? The middle of the earth, ideally, right? So people from Far East would need to have a fuel stop here to probably go to Africa, right? Generally, if you're not talking about commercial, let's talk about private aviation. So unless if you're flying on a G650, that's a different story. But if you were to talk about, a regular Falcon 900DX, Dassault Falcon, one of my favorite aircrafts in the world, the old, that's another story.
The old one.
I know, but I don't know. It's very sentimental to me. We are talking about having a base in the Middle East where aircraft stop, refuel, probably even have a crew rest sometimes. And all of this happens mainly within Dubai, Oman, we're talking about rather Muscat, rather Jeddah, Riyadh. But these two are quite expensive.
So that's how Dubai helps it, being
exactly,
in the center.
Exactly, being in the center, attractive prices, and more importantly, the network that you have. We live in a city where there was about 2024 is almost ended, and there's about 2,000 more millionaires.
Yeah.
That is now, if I'm not wrong, if my numbers are right, there's about 2,000 millionaires that was made this year. Mind blown, right? So, it's what attracts people. And look, Dubai being the greatest city on earth, Dubai being, a vision of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, His Highness. We are talking about, everything, just the puzzles coming in, how how it's so easy to help set up businesses here. There's a lot of government support. There's a lot of people over here. The Emiratis are so welcoming. The food is delicious. I just had myself the Afghani cuisine for lunch, and oh my God, I'm stoked. But yeah, no, it's Dubai. This all attracts the global citizens into coming to Dubai, set up their businesses, and with that comes along aviation. With that comes along with them traveling in a private jet sometimes. And with a lot of people who fly these private jets, they don't fly it for the pizzazz. They don't fly it, because they want to take an Instagram selfie. They take it because time is money. You know what?
Yeah. Time is important.
Time is important. Time is important. And
So you're saying that the people who travel in private jets, for them, time is more important than money.
yeah, let's not talk about private jets. Let's talk about like general aviation as a whole. We're talking about air ambulance that falls under the general aviation category. The sick passenger has to go. You got to arrange services immediately, right? I mean, a single second could determine the fate of the soul on board that is not feeling well. So it's all about being how to be proactive, the operators that is lying around, the connections that you can build, which you could just make in a few different phone calls, forget about emails, forget about the regular system that we practice, because if the VVIP needs a service now, we got to give them service now. End of story. So, yeah, and let's just rewind back to the question that you asked me.
Yeah.
Can you remind me the second part of that question?
I asked you about UAE, and then I asked you about how is it shaping the future.
Yeah, so how it's shaping the future? I mean, look, like I said, there's more millionaires, and this number keeps growing. And I'm not talking about just the UAE as a country. We're talking about Saudi Arabia being growing. Jeddah Tower has just, at the time of this podcast, we are seeing a resumed construction on the Jeddah Tower. So this is going to be active. This is going to be like a hotspot, for a lot of Riyadh Air transforming into like a global, major airliner that is going to compete with Emirates, Etihad, the big Qatar Airways, the big three. And these are all little attractions that sort of has curious minds from the Far East, curious minds from Africa, curious minds from the Americas to say, hey, what's going on here? Maybe I should invest here. And that's what it is.
How easy it is to acquire a private jet, to fly in one, from if I'm taking a commercial airline on my regular basis, and I want to move to, flying privately. How easy it is, and how much time does it take for me to inquire for one flight, and how much time does it take for me to actually have my tickets in my hand saying that, okay, your flight is booked? What is the duration? And how easy it is? Do you have an app, or how does it work?
Well, we don't have an app at the moment because we are quite new. We're quite a startup, Airlin Executive. We just operated a year ago, commenced our operation a year ago. However, generally with our current clientele, they send us a WhatsApp message sometimes. They send us an email requesting for what their waypoints or rather what arrival destination they do want to go, how many passengers they are, how many bags they're carrying, what is their budget, things like that. So they all sort of let us know exactly what it is. We give them a quotation, which in my opinion is one of the best in the market, because I do understand, me and my business partner Donna, super amazing lady, you got to see her one day.
Seen her already.
Yeah, no, the viewers back home, she's a character as it is. Donna, if you're watching this, I love you. So we understand the prices, the matrix that is being used, and try to find a way how we can benefit the passenger. And because if it's a regular passenger of ours, we sort of have our own system as to their likes and dislikes, and accordingly we sort of tailor it to them. Like if, for example, they don't like lamb, we wouldn't.
You have to remove the lamb.
We'd obviously we sort of go above and beyond, even though it is not our job. Our job is to literally provide a charter service, but we sort of go above and beyond sometimes, maybe dealing with the operators directly, sometimes dealing with, if the flight attendants, we sort of say, hey, by the way, this is the sort of mood of the passenger, whatever, and sort of go the extra mile. And that is sort of our added value service as to why our clients come back to us, because we're loyal to them. They trust us, we trust them. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
This whole process takes it a matter of minutes, right?
Happens so for example, I'll give you an example. If I want to travel from, let's say, from Dubai to Mumbai, okay, and I want to go tomorrow, but how much time? So if I inform you today, how much time does it take you to arrange a flight for me, or do all the arrangements, and you can give me a call that your flight is ready, how much time does it take, and
Maximum
how
30
much
minutes.
does it cost me?
Okay. I can't remember Mumbai on the top of my head, but let's say about Kenya because I just quoted Kenya today.
Kenya,
It's
okay.
fly to Kenya, DWC to Jomo Kenyatta International. We're talking about $95,000 on Global Express, which is quite a beautiful aircraft, Bombardier Global Express. One of my
So how many
preferred
seats?
operators. We're talking about this Global Express has about 13 seats, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 13
And
seats.
what about the luggage? How much luggage can we take in that?
Luggage? It's about 10 luggages.
So 10
Big,
suitcases,
big,
big
big,
luggage.
big
Okay.
luggages. We're not talking about the tiny
Yeah.
ones. But in this particular case, we're not. There's not many passengers. It's mainly a cargo
Yeah.
operation where they do want to be able to bring in some of their goods that is used in that
Yeah.
that they just sort of want to bring in
Yeah.
from Dubai to Kenya for their own purposes. So let's leave it at that.
So tell me an unusual story that you have achieved, and you're proud of achieving that, and a very unusual request or a very customized request that you you find it hard to achieve.
Yeah,
You've
so
done it.
it's funny that you actually mentioned. It's quite. There's so many stories that I could tell you, man. But one of the funniest stories that I could actually think of, which just happened not so long ago, is that one of the a new passenger of ours was flying with another operator, flying with another agent themselves, and apparently the agent did not alert them that they should not stay on ground for more than an X amount of hours in this particular country.
Okay.
So, whilst the passenger who did not know about this took his time, doing what he needs to do in that particular country, and on the way back, saw a bunch of missed calls, but unfortunately he was busy. Missed calls from the operator, but unfortunately he was busy. And then as soon as he went to the airport, he doesn't see his aircraft anymore. It just
took off.
They took off because they did not alert the passenger
Oh, this happens.
about I find it very strange, right? That this actually
Yeah.
happens a lot here.
And you arranged another flight or something.
But yeah, no, and the passenger sort of called us and said, "Hey, can you let us know?" And we
Yeah.
found the next best aircraft that was available, that was on the same in the same country itself, that was planning on departing out.
And
We sort of contacted them, worked out on the deal real quick. The whole process took 20 minutes, and he was just like, "Seriously, just." Like,
it's ready.
It's ready. It's ready. And we're just like, yeah, it's ready. So
Yeah.
these are little achievements that you could say that we have had during our time in Airlin Executive, and the team that we work with are just fantastic. We operate 24/7. So regardless of any issues that you have, whether it could be that there's it could be whatever issues that passengers generally face, and I can't say too much about it at the moment because I don't feel like it's right.
Yeah.
But whatever issues that you do have, we are people that provide solutions. We are people that likes to work with our passengers, with our crew, with our operation, and we are solution providers.
Yeah.
Wow. That's ideally we're not just another charter company. We are a company that cares about what you're going through. And if you're going for a birthday party, hell, like you will find a birthday cake in the aircraft. That's the kind of
What about
service
disco
that we
lights?
provide. Sorry?
What about disco lights?
Let's not go partying at the moment, but yeah, sure, man, if that's your thing.
Okay, amazing to know. Just one very commercial side of a question I wanted to ask. If today I wanted to jump into this business, as you say that there is a lot of potential, what would you suggest me to do? What would be my next step? What is my best step to achieve?
Okay, so
Apart from being a partner in your company, what would
I'm going to put in our company email here so you could send your inquiries. No, but in all seriousness, we do contact me if you whatever questions that you do have. If you're based in Dubai, always happy for a coffee. Abbas can tell you, he's been nagging me for this podcast. I'm joking.
It's fine.
No. As much as I do enjoy being here, no. But seriously, in all honesty, we do contact me. And we're always available to answer your questions. And as a matter of fact, we would love to answer your questions in on talk with
In the next podcast.
yeah. And I mean,
So I can put that in.
exactly. I mean, we
Ask
can
Michelle some questions.
exactly all exclusive in On Point with AbbasHamidi. Yeah.
But you haven't answered my question yet. If I wanted to get into this industry, what is the best practice to do? Is it education is important, or do you think that you just have to network a lot?
Working in aviation for quite some time, it's all about the clientele that you actually build, the network that you build. Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's all about that. And look, if you want to be able to start an aviation company, sure, I encourage it, because there's a lot of gaps in the industry, which I'm sure through a little bit of research you'll be able to find out, figure out exactly if you want to get yourself into charters, whether you want to get into aircraft sales, whether you want to get into MRO, which is maintenance, repairs, and overhauls. There's always a gap, and there could also be other companies that could even support aviation companies, like for example catering. I mean, there's always a way. There's always a way. So it depends on exactly building your network, understanding what is the gap in the market, and fulfilling that gap.
Yeah.
3 different steps. Of course, acquiring a civil aviation license, especially the DCAA license, is super important.
How much does it cost?
So civil aviation itself takes about 6,500 dirhams per activity.
Okay.
Right.
But do you need any background education or certificates that you need to acquire?
Sometimes it depends on kind of like, for example, if you're doing MRO, you do need to have accountable managers. You need to have post holders, quality, a proper team for you to be able to set up a business. So it all depends on what exactly you need. Have the network that you have, like find exactly how easy it is to acquire customers, because a lot of times people set up business without even considering, hey, I didn't realize that I'm another player in the charter market when all of these people are going to the other big fish like ECS and Chapman Freeborn and the JetX brokerage services as well. There's a lot of companies that are well established, well built, that already has sometimes even monopolize certain fields in the market. So how is it that you're able to acquire your customers? Once you have figured that out, and once you have answered that question and started to figure out ways that you can acquire this, then great, do it. I mean, because that is literally it. From my side, being my partners and I, my whole team and I, we have a collective experience of well into decades. I mean, we're not.
So that is most important, I think.
Exactly, that experience, and like I said, being in a family of business people, we understand the legal items. I understand how sales operates. I understand how marketing operates. I understand how Dubai functions. And once we put every single piece of the puzzle in together, we all collectively say, hey, we can operate charters, we can operate aircraft sales, we can operate spare parts, and this is what is going on at Airlin Executive now.
Wow. So what kind of clients? Like usually there are celebrities. There are a lot of celebrities coming in to buy sports people, businessmen.
Hey, you're talking about great question. We're talking about celebrities, business people. I mean, look, like I said, Dubai is a hub. Dubai is a hub for shopping. Dubai is a hub for hospitality, for luxury, and more importantly, it's a pizzazz that people do want to see in here. And like there's a lot of concerts that's happening during. I mean, towards the winter now that we're going into. So we have like Coldplay is coming in, and they will be coming in private jets. And they're going to be handled by NFBO, which is a fixed base operator, a VIP terminal, so called it, and and they'll be escorted to their venue for their concert.
Wow.
And ideally, I mean, Coldplay could easily come in on on a commercial airline like Emirates, which is still premium luxurious.
Yeah,
But why won't they do that?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a minute while you guys have a think about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, because this is more better. Like this is more like private luxury.
No, they don't do that for the sake of luxury.
Then
Go play humble, right?
Yeah.
They don't care about luxury. They care about privacy. They care about, hey, if I was to be flying Emirates, they're going to be bombarded with hundreds and thousands of fans every single time they actually proceed with the airport. Their security guards are not strong enough to have that crowd, crowd them ideally.
yeah, so privacy is
Privacy is the key. Privacy is the key. They want to have their space. They want to have that ease. Maybe they're going through a preparation as to what they need to do for their concert. As an example, by the way, for this particular artist, if it's a businessman that's going to come in, they don't want to be bombarded. If it's a well-known businessman, they don't want to be bombarded by.
For them, time is more important. Right?
Exactly. They just want to be able to go into the airport, pass through the airport, go to conduct the business, and as soon as the business is done, go back to the airport and get the hell out. That's it. They don't want to spend time. They don't want to see the color flower of the VIP terminal. They don't want to see no TV show. If they do want to see that, yes, amenities are provided. Yes, of course, there are much nicer amenities on VIP terminals, of course. But they just want to go in and out.
Yeah.
Time is money for them.
Yeah.
Right? So that also is something to consider. And if you're talking about then the third type of people, which is influencers, they love to see the color and flower. They love to see exactly selfies in the lounge, selfies in the bathroom. Don't ask, but I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I mean, I worked for an FBO. Oh, my bad. I worked for an FBO before, and I was working in operations, and wow, what a lot of fun it was. I've seen it all, like where we had, I'm not going to name who, but a very, very known celebrity, a very known rapper who left his grill. Actual story. He left his grill in the lounge because he wanted to drink a juice, or I think it was a carrot juice, if I can remember. And the grains, he didn't want to have the grains stuck in. So he removed his grill, left it on one of the coffee, how can you explain? The pad that goes above the glass. Sorry, the coffee coaster. Correct. Thank you. He left it on the coaster, and then he forgot about it, and he left. And then I get a call in the operations to say, "Hey, I left my grill." I'm like, "What's a grill?" "Oh, the thing that you put on the teeth." I'm like, "You're joking." I actually go and I see I actually see like diamonds studded and everything. It was like, yeah.
You could have said that you didn't find it, but you still found it and kept it.
Yeah, I mean, like if it's in the guy's mouth, right? I mean, if it's like an earring or like a ring or something, okay, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. But I'm just joking, maybe. But but yeah, no. That it is what it is. I mean, it's an interesting industry. You learn something new every day. Technology is evolving. Oh, something that I could probably tell you. Now we are in the process of getting into other new ventures to be able to support our clientele. And one of the topics within my association was sustainability. And when you talk about sustainability, especially for aviation, the first thing that comes to mind is fuels. Because, I mean, let's talk about, Taylor Swift and how much she flies and how much fuel that she burns and how this is chaos for the world and animal rights enthusiasts. I mean, they're like, save the dinosaurs when they've been dead like thousands of years ago. Talking about fuels. We're talking about biofuels.
Yeah.
Right? Now, with biofuels, it's a mixture of it's actual avgas or Jet A1 mixed with some fuels that is derived like ethanol that's derived from corn and stuff like that. It's an actual thing, and with technology evolving, would actually raise a lot of gaps in the market. Yes, with interesting opportunities, Abbas, with biofuels, for example, there's a lot of interesting development. Airlin Executive is very proud to now host multiple different divisions within our fantastic industry, supporting our VIP customers, supporting flight attendants, supporting crew, supporting engineering departments as well. We are trying our level best to be able to support our people, to be able to provide them with further solutions and ensure that we provide and continue providing the best level of quality known to Earth as much as possible.
Amazing, amazing. Mishal, I think I've taken a lot of your time today, and it's almost the end. I just one last question wanted to ask you.
Yes.
What is that one thing you wanna, as a takeaway to the audience, the people who are listening to you today? What is that one thing you wanna, help them understand and take it away from the podcast?
Keep dreaming. Don't ever stop asking questions, because business is my dream has been fulfilled on me, on the basis of me asking questions. And do not ever take no for an answer. That's also another thing that I live by. People say no to you, but you want to know the reason why, not just a blunt no. But yeah, that's sort of my take on it. And there's also one more thing, Abbas, who are watching this podcast. You got to try to fly on a private jet at least once in your life. Not only will that give you a level of understanding why private aviation, but it'll also give you a chance to admire, respect, and also find a reason for you to take more flights.
Make more money.
Exactly. Make more money and to fly. But yeah, that's sort of my take. I mean, look, if you're ever flying with a group of family, hell, forget about Emirates First Class. Fly Airlin Executive.
All right, Mishal, thank you once again. Thank you for your time today
My
at the
pleasure.
podcast. And all my listeners today, thank you for tuning in. And
There's one more thing though, Abbas.
what?
I have your nephew earlier
Yeah.
asked a really, really good question.
Oh, he's here. Burhan, come. Yeah. So he's joined us today at the pod. He wanted to experience.
I do, man.
So one question was it that you wanted to ask?
Question was, how fast or what's the top speed of this
Aircraft.
So this is a Gulfstream G450, and you want to know this in kilometers an hour, right? So
Yeah.
we're talking about 1,100 kilometers an hour approximately.
That's a
yeah, that's
wow.
yeah, that is it.
That's what Mark
speed.
wants.
No. We're we're talking about 0.8 Mark.
Oh, 0.8. No, okay, so almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's quite a fast aircraft. Yeah. Yeah.
He's always about talking about speed every time. If you're driving a car, he says go more faster. Today we're in the
Yeah, and have radars flash over. Use your private jet, spending money over to pay fines. Yeah, 100%. But no, all in all, though, I really am thankful for being here.
Thank you.
Abbas, thank you for being a great host and listening to my stories. And yeah,
Thank you for setting this up and giving your aircraft for a
It's a
podcast.
pleasure.
It's a big experience and it's a wonderful time. So thank you everyone once again for tuning in and watching this podcast. You guys have always supported me and keep supporting, hitting the like button and hitting the follow button. Thank you.
subscribe.